Hi everyone, and welcome back to Learn Excel with Ramon. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a simple pie chart. Now, what we're going to do is to use our previously developed groceries list, and then we're going to use those numbers there to create a nice looking, very presentable pie chart. So let's go ahead, let me just get rid of this title here, and then let me bring out all of the information that we have already worked on, which is our groceries list. So if you recall from lesson 1, 2, and 3, we created a list of items here for grocery and then apply the quantities that we needed to purchase, unit of measurement, unit price, total price, and then in lesson 3 specifically, we applied the taxes by indexing a cell. So that's in lesson 3. If you need a recap there, you can go ahead and go back to that video. What I did here, just to save us time and so we can focus on the pie chart, I added a column that has the total with taxes. So I simply sum up the total price column with the taxes. So if you click on this cell here, and if you hit F2 on your keyboard, it is going to show you what it is that this calculation is doing. So you can see here that I'm simply adding up 449 plus 0.22, 22 cents, and then I see the total with taxes amount here. So I simply add up this column to this column, and then I arrived at a total cost for my grocery with this list, $66.06. Okay, so I created that, and then to also save time, I worked on some more data here for us. What I did here is I created some categories. Okay, dairy, snacks, products, drinks, meat, so on and so forth. And what I did here, I brought all of the total with taxes amounts into the categories. So for example, again, if you hit F2, it's showing here that for dairy, I simply added milk and cheese. Then if you look at snacks, I simply added Oreo cookies and Lay's potato chips. In other words, I allocated each individual value here into a category accordingly. For frozen food, for example, I only had the Delícia frozen pizza, so I just simply added that number there. At the end of the day, my total here equals with my total here, and again, I simply allocated these values into this categories here so we can work with the pie chart. Okay, so let's take it from here. I'm going to create another column here, put more information. I'm going to call it percentage. So the pie chart really is slices of a pie that in total represents the whole. So what I want to see in a pie chart is the fractions of a unit. So what are the pieces, or how large are or how big are the slices of a pie within the entirety of that unit. So for that, I'm going to create a percentage calculation here. I'm going to perform a percentage calculation so that we can plot that information in our pie chart. So I'm going to simply divide each individual category value. So for dairy, I have $10.77. I'm going to divide that number by my total, because again, I wanted to see how much that represents percentage-wise. What's the size of the fraction? What's the size of the slice from the pie? So dairy category divided by the total. And if you recall from the previous sessions, if you wanted to fix the cell, if you don't want that cell to float as you perform the calculations, you wanted to make it permanent, you simply click in between the letter and the number, like I'm doing up here, and you want to hit F4. F4, it's going to add your $sign before your letter and before your number, and what that does is, again, it's going to prevent the calculation as I move down the spreadsheet from changing that cell. Hit enter. I have a decimal numerical number. I can simply click on that cell and then format it as percentage. You can click on the percentage button here, or you can open this drop-down list and then hit percentage. Same thing, it's going to bring that to percentage. Because I have fixed that cell, that total, that M10, I'm going to simply drag it down. And what this is going to do is going to bring me a percentage of each individual category, which should sum up, if this was properly calculated, to 100%. So I hit the auto sum here for the cell that I had selected at the bottom. And if I simply hit enter, 100%. So that looks good. That's what I want to see. The totality of the individual categories. So let's do the pie chart. All I have to do is to select the categories. So what are the things, what are the slices that I want to see in the pie? I want to see each individual category, and I'm going to hit the Control key on the keyboard. I'm going to press it and hold it so I can skip this column and I can select the next set of data. So I hit Control on the keyboard to do that. I'm going to do it again. First select all of the categories and then Control on your keyboard, hold it, select all the percentages. From this point on, it's all about having fun with the graph. Let's go to the Insert menu. Under the Charts area, I'm going to open here my Insert Pie, and I'm going to pick the very simple one, the 2D pie. You can do a 3D. The 2D is enough for this example. And that's my chart. Let me make it a little bigger here. Let's enlarge the area of the graph. And let's make it look a little better. So the first thing that I have to do here, obviously, let's give it a name. So let's just select the area there. And I'm going to call Ramon's Grocery pie chart, say by categories in percentage contribution. And I'm going to say this is dollar-wise, right? It's about how much I'm spending. I can make the font larger if I go to Home, to the Home menu, and simply increase the font. I can also make the legend down here a bit better or bigger. And I can also add the data values to my chart. If I click with the right button over the chart, click on Add Data Labels, it brought the percentages. If I click with the right button over the percentages again, and if I go to Format Data Labels, I can pick what I want to show. Right now it's showing the value, as you can see here, but I can click on Category Name, for example. Now I have the category and the percentage. Or I can just have the category alone. So you can pick what you want to display. So I'm going to leave it like this. And I'm going to close this window and maybe make this those labels there bigger. I can change the color of the font by selecting this option. Let's change to white. Oh, that's not going to work, so keep it black. And that's basically it. The pie chart, again, you want to represent the fractions or the percentage of the entirety of the unit. And this is just one way of doing it. Again, in Excel, there are different ways of doing different things. I just wanted to show you how to create this pie chart step by step, and I'm going through this very mechanically, again thinking of the people who are just starting to Excel so they can see again step by step what I've been doing here with the data. So that's it for now. I hope you've learned something here today, and I hope to see you in the next lesson.